Maximize Your Influence is your podcast for the latest persuasion, sales, and negotiation techniques. Our mission is to help you influence on command, anyone, anytime, anywhere. Your host is the author of Persuasion IQ, Laws of Charisma, and the best-selling book, Maximum Influence. Now, your host, Kurt Mortensen.
Hey, here's a quick snippet from my podcast, Maximize Your Influence. Hope you enjoy. Subscribe at MaximizeYourInfluence.com. So let's continue with that and get into number 3, which is the number. The number you use, the actual price. So studies show that odd numbers are always more persuasive than even numbers, especially if you're going to do a budget or negotiation like $100,000. Well, where'd you get that? Did you pull it out of the air? No, make it an odd number. Make it end at an odd number. $102,407 is more persuasive than $100,000 because it looks like you've done the research and you haven't pulled it out of the air, even though it's a larger number. And so when it ends at an odd number, it's more persuasive. It used to be the number 9, but now it's the number 7. When things end in the number 7, for some reason, it's more persuasive than that. It's not that we're that dumb, like, well, $9.97, that's $10. That's part of it. The studies do show that that does sell better every time. But part of it, too, is the precision of the odd number is more persuasive and how we place those numbers. And so that's an interesting one, the way we use numbers, the way we see numbers. An interesting study was done with restaurants, which we talked about last week, restaurants and verbal packaging and pricing. Well, what if it was $12, the dollar sign 12.00, or just $12, the dollar sign the number 12, or the number 12? Or what if we spelled out the number 12, right? They're all $12, but they're all very different. Which one pulls better? Do we spell it out? TWELVE? Do we put the dollar sign? Do we put the decimals? Well, the one that pulled the best was just the number 12. 1, 2. Just the number 12 outpulled dollar sign 12.00. Outpulled dollar sign 12. Just the number 12 was the one that outpulled on a menu. Isn't that interesting? So just the way we come up with numbers, the way we price things is very important. In fact, Dan Ariely's done some studies on this and just the placement of numbers and the numbers that we think about. This one's wild. So he had people think about the last 2 digits of their social security number. Then he had them estimate the cost of a cordless keyboard. Now, they chose cordless keyboard because that's not something that most people know the exact price of. They would have said gallon of milk or eggs, it would have been different. But this was just something that was out there. And they wanted to estimate what is the cost of the cordless keyboard. They showed up a picture. And here's what's interesting. For those who had social security numbers, remember they're thinking of the last 2 digits, from 0 to 19, estimated at $16.09. Those that had the 2 digits of 20 to 39, it was $26.92 on average. 40 to 49 was $29.27 on average. 60 to 79 was $34.55 on average. And those who had social security numbers between 80 and 99, remember the last 2 digits, estimated on average, here's the average, of $55.64. And so there's something about numbers and the numbers they see first, the numbers they think about first, and we don't even realize that. In fact, as doing research for the second edition of my book, Maximum Influence, this came up again and again, just the contrast and pricing facts. That our brain always sees the left-hand digits over the right-hand digits when we look at price, right? We see the dollars, not the cents. Because most consumers tend to round down. $9.99 is $9. In fact, a study was done they looked at the price of an item. And they looked at 89 cents versus 75 cents, 93 cents versus 79 cents. And if you subtract both, they're both 14 cents. But the one that went from 93 cents to 79 cents, it looks like a bigger jump and felt it was a greater reduction, even though it was only 40 cents. We found out mail order catalogs when edited an odd number like 99 cents, it outsold others by 8%. Another research found when ended at 9 was 10% jump. So something to think about with the numbers. Don't just pull it out of the air. There's psychology behind the numbers. Thanks for listening. To listen to the rest of the podcast or subscribe, it's MaximizeYourInfluence.com.